Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. Hope you're well. I have been doing the Louise Fletcher Find Your Joy free taster sessions, and I've realised part of finding my joy is having paint ready mixed up in the tubs. So I spent the morning mixing up all of these new colours, so I don't have to spend as much time at the palette. I can just be really painting away. So excuse me for not speaking to the camera today. I've had a small medical procedure on my face and my eye. It's right near my eye, and I've had a very swollen eye, and I'm not in any pain. I'm quite fine, but I look a bit beat up. So yes, I thought I would just paint. And also having my vision impaired slightly really was very interesting. Found it really hard to think. So I've just done a very short session at the canvas today, and I hope you enjoy watching this come together. Have put it on ×2. So if there's anything in particular you'd like to see in more detail, you can adjust the speed in your settings on the replay. So I'm just starting out with a kind of grey blue here, just knocking back that sky. As I said, it's far too busy, particularly over in the left-hand side. And I'm just using a glaze here, so I've really watered down the paint. So I've still got underneath there showing through, so there's leaving some interest, but it just really helps knock it back. Some of the white that I'd put on was really bothering me, so this is a way to tone that down as well. And it gives a lovely hazy feel to the horizon line. Are you enjoying the quotes I'm putting on the start of the vlogs these days? I realise that when I have my studio open, I have all sorts of quotes gathered around amongst the artwork, and I thought those who can't come to the studio don't get to have those, and there is some absolutely amazing quotes out there by artists. So yes, hope you're enjoying those. And the quote today about painting from the heart, I really connect with. I think that's so true. And I think you can go a step further and say that you need to paint really quite carefree, with no attachment to the final result. And that's another thing that I've really embraced lately with these new landscape series, is really not trying too hard and just really trying to just slap some paint around and really loosen up and know that I can just paint over, trust in my skill level that if there's something not working, I can make it work. And if I can't and I it's a complete disaster, well, I just rip the canvas off and restretch another canvas. That's all good. And I really feel, having done that, my work has just leapt forward, or at least my joy in that has leapt forward. I will leave a link in the description for Louise. She has a YouTube channel, and she also runs a podcast with Alice Sheridan, who also has a few YouTube videos. I'll leave all of the links to that below. This little section here, this horizon, is my favourite part of the painting so far. And I was a little bit unresolved, if you've watched the last episode of this painting about whether to block this in, what to do with this mountain range. So I decided just to block it in, and I can always take it out. You got to really remember that you do have a lot of choices and a lot of control, and you can go over things much easier with painting. So yes, I filled in the side and I really quite like it. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of variation, a little bit of contrast in there, and trying to leave some of that hazy area that I created putting in the glaze over the sky. I think that really helps give some depth, and that's what's really interesting too. I should mention about, I talk a lot about having contrast and variance, but having soft and hard edges is another really important aspect and tool that you can use to really level up your paintings, and particularly if you're working in landscapes, it can create, as you can see there, a really great sense of distance and perspective. And it also gives the eye something else, that there's a hard edge to grab onto and then a soft edge. So now that the glaze is dry, I'm just coming in with, again, a little bit of contrast, adding just a little bit of interest back into the sky. And that's a very soft brush, which I don't often use because I haven't got as much control over it, but it was just a very cheap brush. It's a Renoir brush from I don't know much about those brushes, but it is a lovely soft brush. It's wearing well for a cheap brush. It's more what I would call a watercolour brush, the bristles. You can get a very different type of mark depending on whether you're using a flat or a round brush. And flats are generally used for the broader blocking in, getting a crisp edge, or blocking in, which is the body of water there. It's mostly flat brush. But today I'm playing around. The stuff in the mountains is made with a round brush. So yeah, play around with your brushes, because there's so many different things you can do just because of the shape of the bristles. So now I'm trying to put in and resolve what's going on in this bottom corner, and I thought, well, we'll do a bit of a beach. Reminds me a lot, if you've seen my vlog, about our visit to Lorne and the little bays and things that are around there on that Great Ocean Road area in Victoria. So this is the skin tone with the unbleached titanium mix. So not really a yellow at all, but just a colour that fits in with all of these blues on the colour wheel. So you don't necessarily have to be true to any colours if you don't wish. Then I spoke about the sides, why I paint the sides last week. absolute your own preference. I'm watching myself block all that in, and I'm worried I'm going to take out all those lovely marks in the mountains. It's so funny watching yourself back and going, oh no, don't go over that area. It does look a little bit different, of course, in person and much more close up than it does on video too. So sometimes I know that it's absolutely needed what I'm doing. That doesn't necessarily seem obvious with the way, I guess, the video is flattened 2D. So I'm starting to put a little bit of addition to the water, but I'm really not sure what I want to do there. I do a little bit of kind of waves and ripples as it would hit the beach, but I'm really not sure whether they'll stay or whether I even really needed to do those. But again, I was just trying to really, because I had become quite precious about this area, I was just trying to put some more marks on and keep going, because the paint is quite thin on the canvas too, which is something else you can't quite see. You might be able to pick up when I show you a close-up later on. This little brush is lovely. It's got a slightly rounded head and it's a little short brush, as you can see, so you have a lot of control, and I use it a lot. It's a lovely little brush, and there I'm just putting in, that's a mix of the Midnight Blue and the Southern Ocean Blue. Just trying to break up that broad area that I blocked in that I was just saying I didn't like. Obviously trying to break that up again, which is good. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this is coming along. So here's the close-up. You can see there's a lot more there in the detail. That's why it's so important to see work in the reel. That little stripe there I smudged when I was doing the sky, and I quite liked it. I'm not sure now, watching this over again, how I feel about it. But anyway, there, look at that. That's almost a painting in itself, that area. Really loving that. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.